everybody. Hey, everybody. All right, I came on a couple of minutes early to test my mic, which is right here. So let me know if you guys can hear me when you guys start popping on. All right, testing. Let me see if I'm on. Let me tell Instagram because y'all are all on Instagram. So let me tell y'all I'm live. Hey, everybody, as you come in. Hey, good afternoon. Hey, Tamara. Can you hear me, Tamara? I've been having issues with my microphone. Okay, awesome. Yay. Okay, I'm telling all your friends on Instagram to come over here because I know that's where they are. Okay, so let me just tell the people. Okay. All right, so let me tell the people I'm a little early. So give me a couple minutes. Grab your water, grab your snacks. Okay. We are live, people. Okay, great. Okay, I'm so glad that you can hear me. I've been having microphone issues. All right, I just told everybody we're live, so hopefully your friends will come on over here. Okay, if not, it'll just be us. As you come in, make sure that you say hey and then I can hear you and see you. Let me make sure all of my notifications are turned off because guaranteed I will be disrupted and I do not want to do that. All right, we have 2 minutes. So I don't want to repeat anything, but I'm really, really glad that you guys are here. I get really excited about the first of the month. Of course, I'm going to repeat it. Of course, what am I going to do? I'm going to sit here and look at you guys. I am so excited about the first of the month. Well, it's not really the first of the month, but our conversations that happen every month because it gives me an opportunity to connect with you. It gives me an opportunity to hear what you have to say, perspectives to share with other ladies to not only grow you, but to grow them as well. And I think we don't do enough of this just in general. So we have, let's see, less than 1 minute. I'm going to do my official introduction in 1 minute. I'm using my brand new fancy mic. I don't even know if this mic is on, but this is the beauty of technology. We're just trying things. We're trying things and hoping for the best. Hey, Lorraine. I'm so glad you're here. Hey. Let me know if you can hear me. Tamara can hear me, but I want to make certain that you can hear me too. And it's not just Tamara. Good morning, good afternoon. Good morning, good afternoon as you guys join. I love it. I'm also going to attempt to record this. Hey, Peggy. Hey. Thank you for joining. Peggy, is this your first time? Is this your first time joining? If it is, welcome. Okay, it is officially 12 o'clock. I am going to get started, and whomever shall come will come. I am Lynette Williams, aka Operation Sexy Body, and I am a women empowerment coach. And basically, that means I help women all across the United States lead a healthier and fulfilling life. And I use fitness as my mode of therapy. What that means is that my personal opinion is that your dedication, your adjustment to your fitness and nutrition life spills over into other aspects of your life and makes you a happier and healthier and more whole person, not only to yourself, but to other people around you. And you would be surprised that when you focus on you, everything else just seems to kind of work out. And a lot of people don't get that. A lot of people see Operation Sexy Body and they think one of two things. One, they think Operation Sexy Body is something about a sexy body, and it is not. But also they think it is about fitness and like a fitness routine and a nutrition plan, and it is not. Operation Sexy Body came at a time in my life where I was obese, clinically obese. My doctor told me, and I was very offended. And that's another thing too. Sometimes when people tell us the truth about ourselves, we get offended instead of getting inspired. But that's another story for another time. So my doctor told me I was obese, and I remember sitting in the doctor's office. I was going to the gym. I was eating what I thought was okay for a, late 20, early 30-year-old, and I Googled, I want to be sexy. And so all these pictures came up. I tell the story all the time. So if you guys have heard this story, number one, I'm telling the truth. But number two, you're quite amused because I literally tell it the same way. But I was I was looking for how to be sexy. And so all of these pictures came up of these women that didn't represent me. These women were only the photos that came up were only focused on the aesthetic, most of them fake. And a lot of times, especially now in our social media age, a lot of things are fake that we look at. A lot of people are fake that we look at. And so I didn't get how to change myself from the inside out. And so I had lost weight before I gained it back. So the problem isn't losing the weight. Anybody can lose weight. You can lose weight doing unhealthy behaviors. I wanted to lose weight for the last time. And so hence Operation Sexy Body was born because you not only have to enjoy the journey of getting to where you want to be, but then you realize when you get to where you want to be, that's not where you want to be because you're not the same person. So you don't want the same things. And so Operation Sexy Body is a continuum of the ever evolving you. And so we have conversations about, hey, y'all, welcome. Come say hi when you come in. We have conversations about things in life that help us, and we notice things that hinder us, and we try to get rid of those. So today we're talking about standards. And I want you guys to continue to, say amen or say ouch or, comment in the comment section because I will be toggling back and forth when I prompt questions to you to engage you in our conversation. All right, so let me bring up my notes because I do have a tendency to get off track because I like to run my mouth. Okay, so today we are talking about standards. We're talking about standards. We're talking about aligning ourselves with our standards, acknowledging what are our standards. So before I get started, I want you guys to tell me what you think about when you hear standards. No right or wrong answer, just when you hear standards, what comes up? I'll wait. Mhm. I know y'all like, man, I didn't really know I was going to be it's going to have to work today. Yes, we have to work today. All right, while you guys are getting started, I'll give you my take on standards and how this came up. When when we think about changing our life and our patterns and wanting more and doing more, we attempt to change the things that we do, but we don't really change our mindset around them. So you can change all the things that you do, excuse me, and never really get to the point of actual change because you continue to adjust things instead of adjusting yourself. All right, let me see what you guys are saying. Oh, please repeat the question. Hey, Peggy, I said, what are standards? When you think about what are standards, what comes up? No right or wrong answer, just standards. Standards for me are XYZ. Tamara says, standards are things that we allow for ourselves. Lorraine says that standards are protocols. I like that. I like both of you guys' answers. So, all right. So, if standards are protocols and things that we allow for ourselves, I want to challenge you to think about so protocols, aka SOP, standard operating procedures, things that we allow for ourselves. So, I want to challenge and give you another perspective or question, which we'll probably get into. Do we need standards? Do we need protocols? Do we need, so Peggy says, a way of living. So do we really need a way of living? Do we need rules? And if we need them, and these aren't questions that you necessarily need to answer, but I'm just kind of, kind of getting your mind around the conversation that we're going to have today. If we need rules and standards, why are everyone's different? Protocols are supposed to be the same for everybody, right? This is the standard operating procedure. These are the rules, but people have different rules. People have different standards. So how can people with different standards or different rules or different ways of living, how can they coexist and how can they manifest in a productive, cohesive way moving forward? Okay, so Peggy says, yes, we definitely need rules. Okay, all right. All right, so let me go back to my notes. So, standards I have found aren't what you say you want, they're what you consistently allow, repeat, and protect. Let me say that again. Your standards aren't what you say you want, they may not even be the rules that you say you live by. They are what you and I and we consistently allow, repeat, and protect. So then that begs the question, what are you protecting? What standard are you consistently allowing? Okay. So moving on. Standards, they show up in patterns, not promises. Okay. So standards are not promises. They aren't even set in stone, right? Because we may allow something with one person that we wouldn't allow with others, right? Like I'm going to argue with you. I'm not going to argue with my children, right? So that's not necessarily a standard. But what's the pattern behind that? Okay. So consistency is agreement, even when it's unintentional. Okay. So what feels normal is usually a standard that has been rehearsed. So, or consistently in your life. So if what feels normal to you as a pattern, not a promise, right? But if what you consistently allow in the pattern of life, whether it be work, professional, entrepreneurial, whatever lane our brain is thinking of certain patterns in, um, it feels normal to us to do X, do Y, and do Z. And it's a standard that's been rehearsed, but we don't often assess how effective these patterns, not promises, standards that aren't necessarily cohesive, how they operate our life, and how, as we get older, we continue to adapt them, but don't really adapt our expectation around them. Okay. So these are some questions that I'm thinking about that I want you to think about. And then I'll see you guys are commenting. So I want to make sure to recap your questions real time because you're talking about what we're talking about, right? So what do my daily behaviors reveal about my current standards? Do I just get up and go with the wind? However I feel, that's what I do. If I feel like eating right, I eat right. If I feel like working out, I work out. If I feel like talking to you, I talk to you. If I feel like I don't want to talk to you, then I don't talk to you. What are my daily behaviors and what do they reveal about my current standards? Do I just go out the house looking any kind of way because I don't feel like getting dressed? Where am I consistent even when it doesn't serve me? Where am I consistent even when it doesn't serve me? Hmm, think about that. What do I tolerate that I wouldn't encourage another woman to accept? That can go in a number of different ways. What do I tolerate that I wouldn't encourage another woman to accept, or my daughter, my children, my nieces, cousins? Lastly, and I'll go back to your question, where do I show discipline for others but leniency for myself? So this concept of like grace, right? Like where do I show discipline for others and leniency for myself? So the grace that we give other people, where do we not give grace for ourselves in that same conversation? What standards do I set for other people that I allow to be lowered and raised in me haphazardly? Where does that fall in? All right, let me go back. Let me go to the chat and see what you guys are saying. Yes, we need boundaries, culture. Okay, standards for myself, for my own actions are my non-negotiable. Hey, Dr. Cheryl. So she says that standards for herself, for her own actions are non-negotiable. Patterns. Dr. Cheryl says, I strive for my daily behaviors to reflect my standards, but at times I fall behind my standards and then I'm upset with myself. I think that's a super insightful and key point because it, number one, acknowledges standards. So I acknowledge that I have standards for myself, which is important, but it also signals that I am cognizant of either intentionally, either voluntary or involuntarily lowering my standards, but that pattern continues to happen because she says, I fall behind my standards and then I'm upset with myself. So that means it's a pattern, right? So if we know that our standards are being lowered, how do we break the pattern? How do we do that? Okay, great commentary. So thank you guys for that. All right, so let me go back. Peggy says, I have high standards for myself. I give a lot of grace towards others than myself. You are not the only one. That is like grace 101. Give it to everybody else but yourself. Why do we do that? Why do we allow other people to have such a broad range of it's okay? And then to ourselves, we're so hard on ourselves. And because we've created these standards for ourselves that are unrealistic. But for other people, they are, it's fine. Don't worry. You're doing the best you can. Interesting. All right. All right. So if something keeps happening, it's being permitted. You're allowing this to happen. And it's not because you're soft. It's not because you don't have high standards for yourself. It's because it's way too familiar. And sometimes when we get involved in familiar patterns, they are very difficult to break. And the harder habits are to break, the more fluid our standards become. If I say to myself, I want to work out 4 days out of every single week, but this week I don't do it because I'm too tired. Well, now the standard is I want to work out 4 days a week, but only if I have enough energy to do it. But we say we want something and then we're not a dog on a bone going after it. But we say we have high standards for ourselves. We say we have high standards for ourselves, but we won't do the things that we know we need to do to be the person that we need to be. Sometimes it's a relationship, right? It's not necessarily always about fitness and nutrition. Most oftentimes, it's not about fitness and nutrition. It's just an easy conversation and comparison to have because everybody has a fitness and nutrition life, right? And so you think about, but let's just table the fitness and nutrition mindset for a second and think about the familiarity of continuing to argue with someone in your life or continuing to feel like you're on the short end of the friend stick or continue to operate in the unrequited love category of your relationship. You're allowing that to happen. And sometimes that's like a mind your business. I don't want to talk about that. Not today. And it hurts because the honest reality of the situation is it's a familiar place for me to be in. So let me just settle in here. Let me just settle in the mediocre. Let me settle in the I don't want too much because I don't want to require too much. I don't want to be too difficult. I don't want to be high maintenance. So let me not require more of myself, but I require more of other people. It's too much for me. Okay. All right. So we talked about standards, what they are, do I have them, how I define them, meaning you, what as standards, what I define them as, what are they, uncovering the current ones that I have, uncovering the ones that I have for other people. So now I want to move into reevaluating them. So I talked initially about in one conversation, maybe it wasn't today, but in the conversations that I've had on Instagram, just as things pop up, it's where did these standards come from? So we are not born with standards. We develop them. So where did they come from? Are they mine that I've adapted over the years and throughout life and throughout, ups and downs, or are they borrowed from someone? And do I need to return them to said person? All right. Some standards are built from self-respect. I am not going to have somebody talk to me out of the side of their head like this. But others are built from survival, right? The reason I'm like this is because, I'm so tight on money because, or I'm so loose in spending my money because there was a time that I didn't have any. So the quicker I get it, the quicker I spend it. And because I don't know if I'm going to get it again, right? That is survival. Or I'm going to stay in this relationship because, it's, it's hard out here. So I'm the devil I know is better than the one that I don't. I'm gonna stay in this job because although I really don't like it, it just pays my bills. That's survival. Like I cannot get beyond my own standards because I have to live. I have to survive. So some are built on self-respect, some are built on survival. So the past versions of you created those standards to cope with whatever you were going through. It could be a death, it could be a breakup, it could be a loss of a job, it could be a loss of a friendship, whatever it is. You just did what you needed to do to cope, to get up every single day and to not give up. But you weren't thriving then. You were just trying to make it from A to B. You didn't care about C, D, and E. You just needed to get up and do whatever you needed to do to go to sleep to start it all over again. So so that's one standard, coping standard versus thriving standard, okay? But growth often requires renegotiation, and we do not renegotiate with ourselves enough. Every single year, we should be renegotiating every single automatic bill we have, car insurance, health insurance, um, credit card interest rates. What else do we pay for? I wish we could renegotiate tuition. I'll be first in line, like Lord. Um, but when we grow, our standards change. You are not the same woman that you were 5 years ago. You are not that same woman after your new certification. You know more. You require more. Your price has gone up. Why do we not renegotiate? Why do we just have one standard and it just kind of continues to evolve? Because evolution isn't renegotiation. We got new terms, baby. We have new terms. Okay. When I went from a girlfriend to a wife, I had to renegotiate my terms. Okay. So why don't we do that? Let me pause. Let me go to the comments because I don't want to go too far. All right. My standards were handed down to me. So Peggy says, my standards were handed down to me from my mother. If you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. Thank you for that. Hey, Mom. True. We don't. Hey, Mommy. True. We don't renegotiate. Interest rates are renegotiated. So we should. Absolutely. Interest rates. That is a perfect example. We renegotiate everything but what we're supposed to. All right. So, oh, Peggy says, I am learning that I have to reinvent myself all the time. Ooh, Peggy, do you? You have to reinvent or renegotiate? I want to make sure that we're talking about the same because reinvent means an overhaul. I'm talking about renegotiate, saying, hey, I want to be in contract with you. I want to be in agreement with you, but there's some things that have to change. I just want to make sure we're talking about the same word. Okay, let me move on. All right. All right. So if we grow and have to renegotiate, letting go of that previous standard isn't a regression. It's an evolution. So I require more. And a lot of times, oh, I don't want to be too much. No, I'm a lot. I'm a lot. I require a lot. And I am unapologetic about a lot. And a lot is relative. So my a lot is not necessarily your a lot, which is not necessarily your coworkers a lot. But it has to be talked about. It has to be renegotiated because today's price, metaphorically speaking, is not yesterday's price. I've been through too much. I've gone through too much. I have seen too much. I have let you talk to me any type of way for too long. Okay? We're not doing that anymore. And so, because we're not doing that anymore, if you would like to continue to be in contract and in agreement with me, we need to renegotiate our terms. And if not, no harm, no foul. You go on your way and I go on my way. Okay? So let me ask you some more questions about these standards and where you adapted them from. Peggy says she got them from her mom. And a lot of times, I mean, that makes perfect sense, right? Like we get standards from the people that we spend the most time with, right? Our moms, our dads, our siblings, our best friends. If we have a huge family, it's around, the standards of how the collective influence us and we adapt because it seemingly works for you. So it works for me. So who taught me that this was acceptable or a necessary way to think or behave? Okay. Peggy says it's her mom. Was it created from confidence or was it created from fear? What standard helped me survive this past season? Because we all have had a past season. We had a conversation, I think, 2-ish months ago about seasons and about the evolution of seasons in our life, and the getting from one season to another is a whole separate set of skills that you need. So getting from spring to summer is a whole different set than getting from spring to winter, right? So what helped me survive but is limiting me now? So what have I adapted as a standard that I may have renegotiated, maybe not, that I've evolved into, that I coped with, that was fine then, but it's limiting me now? That whole grace thing, right? Giving everybody else grace. It was a season where I needed a lot more grace than I need now, but I'm still using that grace to kind of get out of the thing. And so now it borders on excuses, right? Where does that align? And if I were choosing again today, whatever standard it is, would I still choose this? Would I still choose to be this way? If I was a people pleaser, then the girl that went along to get along, if I were still that person that had to get me out of that season, would I still choose to be her now? If not, why? Outgrowing a standard doesn't mean that it was wrong. I think a lot of times we have this theory that if I change or if I don't change, either or, you're right, I'm wrong. I'm right, you're wrong. It's your fault, it's my fault. Blame game is real thick up in these standard streets. But outgrowing a standard doesn't mean it was wrong. It just means you've changed. And isn't that the goal, right? Like, isn't that the goal of life, to change and evolve and renegotiate and to have other people in our life do the same thing? The things that you require in a friend now aren't the things that you required 20 years ago. That's why you see these long-term friendships that have not evolved gracefully over the years. It's because one person is growing and evolving and renegotiating, and the other person is unwilling. That family member that can only see you as this one version of yourself when you didn't have nothing, when you didn't know nothing, when you would accept anything, that's not the confident, reevaluated, grown version of yourself that you are now. So all that slick talking and bad mouthing that you were doing and accepting back then is not what you're going to accept now. So, and a lot of people can't take that. So you've changed, and that's a good thing. Okay. All right, let me go back to the chat for a second. Dr. Cheryl says, yes, I must demand my worth. Trials and tribulations helped create my standards. Tamara says, Okay. All right. We getting somewhere. All right. Trials and tribulations, mama, past, uh, past conversations, past relationships. Okay. So we found out where we have developed our standards. We've talked about um reevaluating them. Now I want to get into the last couple of sections and I'm gonna let you guys go. What happens when our standards aren't met? Okay. How do I respond to myself? Because I think a lot of times we focus too much on other people. When standards aren't met, I'm not going to talk to them anymore. I'm going to have a conversation with them. I need to sit down with them. I need to tell them about themselves. Right? Let's turn the mirror back on us. So how do I respond to myself? And the issue isn't breaking the standard, it's what you do next. A lot of times we recognize what we need to change and we don't do it. A lot of times we know relationships that we need to let go, but we won't do it. Okay. The conversation that we need to have with ourselves when standards are not met is one, it reveals the self talk that you have, it reveals the relationship that you have with yourself. If you think of yourself as high or as highly as you think you do or as you should, how do you talk to yourself? Do you look in the mirror and say, girl, you got it going on? Even when you look toe up from the flow up, you say, girl, you got it going on. How do you talk to yourself? Are you kind to yourself? Or are you hard on yourself? Oh, I shouldn't have said that. Oh, I don't know why I do that all the time. Oh, that just, oh, you mull over decisions. You think about it. It keeps you up at night. Gosh, I don't know why. Should I apologize? What should I do? What should I say? I did not work out at all. Oh, oh. I'm just sick of myself. How do you talk to yourself? Shame weakens standards. Curiosity strengthens them. What do I mean by that? When we shame ourselves, we're shaming ourselves in a way that isn't productive. It's actually counterproductive. When we shame ourselves, we are inviting more negative self-talk because we get it, we can get it from other people, but the way that we speak to ourselves should not be negative. And that's shame. Oh, I didn't work out. I know my accountability partner is not. I get it all the time as a coach, all the time. Like, oh, don't beat me up, but I didn't work out at all last week. Okay. Okay. It's life. Life happens. It's okay. But that's very different than saying, I did not work out at all last week. But you know what? I am proud of myself because I stayed on my nutrition. I'm going to get up, get active, and do something for myself. And this week, I'm going to turn that thing on around, right? It's a lot different. That self talk is very different. Repeated collapse usually signals a missing system, not a lack of desire. So you can have standards, but if we're consistently not meeting those standards for ourselves, if we are consistently reevaluating those systems, if we are consistently reinventing those systems, those standards, it's our system that is broken. It's not the standard that's broken, it's the system. You can't have a well functioning system that meets goals more often than it misses them, and that standard isn't where it needs to be. So when you think about the standard that you have for yourself, but you are consistently not meeting it for whatever reason, it's not the standard, it's the system behind the standard. All right. Let me go back to the chat, making sure I'm not missing anything. Peggy says, absolutely. We have to know who we really are as a person. Ding, 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 ding. I wish I had a dinger. I wish I had a dinger. We really have to know who we are as a person. I used to have problems with rejection. I have changed. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that. I believe in me and my standards. Next time I'm going to have something jingle. because that is powerful. She says, I used to have problems with rejection. So when you have a problem with rejection, you don't put yourself out there because you are going to reject other people before they have the opportunity to reject you. So you really aren't your true and authentic self when you are meeting anyone, when you're involved in any relationship, because you don't want to be rejected. So if I'm not rejected, that means I'm accepted, which is not true. So we create these false narratives around fear of rejection. So the standard now becomes this floating ideal that I don't want to be rejected. So all of my standards are going to be based on this fluffy pillow of rejection so that I don't get hurt. But are they true standards? Nope, they're not. Thank you, Peggy, for sharing that. Mom says change isn't easy, and we shouldn't think because the change takes effort is not the right change. That, my friends, I wish I had a tambourine. I'm going to read that again. Change isn't easy, and we shouldn't think because the change takes effort, it's not the right change. I think that is so true, and I think that is so powerful because we think like all this effort getting to evolve and change, like, is it really worth it? Yes. Or you wouldn't have the desire to change. If what you were doing was working, number one, you wouldn't change it. So it's not working. And then the effort behind the change that you know is not working doesn't mean it's not worth it. It just means it's going to take you a little bit longer. And we have such an immediate need of validation and of the flower sprouting up versus the roots growing down first to show progress and to show that it's the right thing. Like we have such a popcorn society. We want to eat right for a week and lose 10 pounds. Like that just doesn't happen. We want to get all this education and all these certifications and all of these things that make us more marketable on paper with all these letters. And then we want a new job. Like the next week, like, look, I've done all these things. Give me more money, give me a new job. And it just does not work that way. But it doesn't mean that the work that you did to get there wasn't worth it. Thank you for that, mama. All right. Peggy says, that is so true. Words are powerful. We have to watch what we say. Yes, we have to watch our self-talk. I mean, we just really do. We really do. Anytime I hear someone say, let me tell you what I used to do. And let me show you how this may show up for you too. Or maybe I'm just telling on myself. Either way, welcome. I used to, when people used to give me a compliment or some sort of accolade, I would say, oh, thank you, but, and then I would say whatever. Like, oh, I like that shirt. Girl, thank you, but it's so old. Do you have to say that? Oh, I like your hair. Oh, thank you. It needs to be done. Oh my God, I loved your conversation, your OSB connection conversation. Thank you so much. I was just so worried that it wouldn't go over well. Don't do that. The way that we talk to ourselves, a gracious, heartfelt thank you so much, internally, intrinsically, it can be whatever you want it to be. But how we talk to ourselves, how we think about ourselves, how we really does affect how we position ourselves in the world. Right? You cannot help what people think about you. You can't, if we could, I'm certain that a lot of us would change a lot of things, right? But how I see myself is so precious and so special and so personal that I'm not going to allow anybody to talk to me any type of way, even me, and even you. All right, let me get back to it. All right, I'm right on time. Okay. All right. So here's the game plan. Okay. Here's the game plan. Standards don't survive on willpower. They survive on structure. I am such a proponent about structure and discipline. It runs my life in the best way because I found when I wasn't structured, anything could go. Oh, everything is fluid. Standards don't survive on willpower. That is why, if you are a person who has gotten on the fitness trend or self development trend and kind of fallen off, because you're motivated to do it, right? When I was 200 pounds and obese, I had so much willpower. I didn't want to be a statistic. I wanted to have children. I wanted to have this glorious life. So I had a lot of willpower. But when I lost the weight, I didn't have that same willpower because my motivation was different. I lost the weight. So the willpower and motivation and desire and fervency that I had to lose the weight, I achieved that. So what was going to keep me in the game? It was the structure. It was the discipline. Okay? Discipline is often designed. It's not forced. So a lot of people think like discipline, you have to like fight discipline with all that you have, and it's not like that. Discipline is a standard of structure. And it is to me, it is a road to self-respect. Discipline equals self-respect. How disciplined you are is how much you show yourself respect. Period. Whatever that is. Now, your levels of discipline can vary based on the time of year, the season that you're in, the time that you have, because, I have certain clients that are their busy season is tax season, right? This is their busy season. I mean, sun up to sundown, this is their busy season. So the same level of discipline that they have in their off season, you can't manifest that. You can't make more hours in a day, right? But you can be disciplined in your structure and in your systems. So, do your systems have to change? Absolutely. Does your discipline have to change? Absolutely not. All right. In your moments of weakness, so this is what you do. In your moments of weakness, have a game plan. When I wake up and don't feel like working out, what am I going to do? Am I going to assess, is it my brain or is it my body? If it's my brain, get up. If it's my body, what's my plan B? So today on the workout circuit, it was heavy lift day. My body didn't feel like it. So what did I do? I walked, right? It wasn't an off day. If I planned for an off day, that's fine. But it wasn't a planned off day. So I'm not going to allow my emotions to dictate my life. Because if we allowed our emotions to dictate our life, where would we be? Okay. And support isn't a crutch, it's a strategy. The reason that I created, which I'll talk about at the very end, the reason I created the Operation Sexy Body Workroom was for support, because I found that people could have all the structure, they can have all the discipline, they can have all the systems that they desired. But when it came down to support and accountability around those systems, if it wasn't there, they would always fail. And not because they were a weak person, but because we all need accountability. We all need support. And support may differ from person to person, from level to level, from season to season. But at the base of it, we all need support. We all need that. You're doing a great job. We all need that. I see you working. We all need, it's good to see you. We all need that, right? All right. So these are the questions when you are creating your game plan, and you may already have one, right? If your game plan is working, congratulations, you have found the secret sauce. If your game plan works sometimes, kind of doesn't work another time, let me give you some questions, and then I'm going to go back to the chat. Some questions I want you to think about. What usually knocks me off track? Is it your cycle? Is it a social outing? I know a lot of people who don't drink unless they go out with their girlfriends. Okay, so how can you go out with your girlfriends and not drink if that's the standard that you are setting for yourself? Okay, what usually knocks me off track? Do I have a response plan, or do I rely on motivation? There's only so much a motivating thing gonna do. Okay. There's only so much motivation that's going to get you from point A to B. So when your motivation wanes, When your motivation isn't motivating as it should, what are you going to do? What's your game plan for that? What boundary would protect me? Excuse me, what boundary would protect this standard? So if I, at this point, can't go out with girlfriends without drinking, I just don't go out. That could be a boundary. That could be a standard until you get to the point where you're stronger and you have more discipline and more willpower. I'm just not going to go out. What support would make this sustainable? Is it telling my girlfriends, hey, listen, I'm excited to come out with y'all, but do not let me drink? What support would make this manageable? Is it a coach? Is it somebody checking in on you daily? Is it somebody holding your feet to the fire of what do I need to do to progress my life? All right, let's check in. Let's do this. And what is one non negotiable I can honor this week? A non negotiable isn't negotiable at all. And I know you're like, duh, non negotiable. But you would be surprised at the amount of people that I talk to when I ask this one specific question. What is a non negotiable for you? A non negotiable is I have to work out 3 days every single week. Are there days, are there weeks that you have missed your 3 day workout week? Absolutely. Okay. My non negotiable is that I will not let this scale get above X. Okay. Well, are there times when that scale gets above X? Yes. Okay. So that's not a non negotiable. Hook or crook, a non negotiable is this is going to take me out if this happens. A non negotiable is something that you would be willing to stand 10 toes down on it not happening. I'm just not going to let that happen. A non negotiable. Okay. All right. So, what am I committing to is a question that I constantly ask myself. I don't have the sweatshirt on. It's the only day I do not have on my committed sweatshirt. um, but commit and being committed is one of my favorite words, phrases, mantras to live by. Being committed. I am committed to myself first, right? So, what am I committing to? Am I committing to doing what I need to do? Like what, like literally, Lynette, what are you committing to? In this season of your life, who are you committed to? What are you committing to? And when I ask myself that, and when you may ask yourself that in a different way, right? I'm sure you don't wake up saying, what am I committed to today, self? But if you think about what you're committed to, what comes up? And whatever and whomever you are committed to, that should guide your standards. That should guide your non negotiables. Okay. What supports me when my energy dips? Because when I have standards, when I'm committed, it's this like fire, right? It's like this incessant desire to achieve, to overcome, to renegotiate, to reevaluate. But what supports me when I don't have as much motivation? Who supports me when I don't have that motivation? Who do I need? What do I need in those times? Okay. And when resistance shows up, when I fight against myself, what do I need to do? What do I need to do to say, hey, self, you getting out of control? Or when I know that I need to do something and I just really don't want to do it, how do I get around that? Do I just let time pass? Do I pretend like it doesn't exist? Do I ignore it? What do I do? All right. Let me go back to the chat and then I'm gonna bring it all together. Okay. Dr. Cheryl says Lynette constantly virtually pops in my mouth when I say negative words about myself. Yes, I do. Peggy says I need to develop a game plan. Yes, we all need a game plan. Every sport has a game plan. you got baseball, you got all kind of signs and stuff. And football, you have all, the quarterback has all kind of plays on his like little wrist, and like, all right, this play is gonna work on this one, right? Basketball, you got timeout, you got, you gotta get, you gotta huddle, you gotta, re-strategize. So if all of these super successful sports have these game plans that work, hence the Super Bowl is tomorrow, right? So the game plan of the Seattle Seahawks and the New England Patriots, their game plans have worked so consistently. Now they are playing each other for the pinnacle of the entire year, right? So their game plans of getting to the Super Bowl have worked. What's your game plan? Is it getting you to your Super Bowl? Is it evolving you to the point that at any given time you can take those plays? Because I'm fairly confident that the exact same roster from the last time each of these teams played the Super Bowl are different. So the players change, but the plays don't. The players change, but the plans don't. So I'm certain that you can think of players in your life, people in your life that have come and gone, some new, some old, some familiar, some not. So they've come and gone, but do your plays change? They shouldn't. The players may, but the plan shouldn't. So I done got all off topic about the Super Bowl, child. This is why I need notes. Let me go back to my notes. All right. So we talked about, okay, so let me close this. I wanted to do 45 minutes. I'm at 48 minutes. So every standard that we live by is a vote for the woman that we believe that we are. What kind of woman do my current standards say that I am? And is that who I want to be and or evolve into be or to become forevermore? I'll ask you again. What kind of woman do my current standards say that I am? Am I a woman of integrity? Do I do what I say I'm going to do when I'm going to do it? Do I hold people in my life accountable for the things that they should be held accountable for? Or do I allow myself to get into poor behaviors because I just don't feel like doing the hard stuff today? I know what I need to do, but I don't do it. Is that who I want to be? Is that who I want to become? Is that who I'm striving to be? Someone who is sometimey, even if it's with myself. So I'm 10 toes down for everybody else, but am I sometimey with myself? Is that who I want to be? So one standard that I am upgrading is, I want you to fill in that blank. You do not have to comment, but one standard that I am upgrading is what? What is a standard in your life? Because we all do not have 100% standards across the board. Let's be clear. That is, I'm not going to say unattainable, but that is a standard that is very hard to set and keep consistently. So one standard at this state of my life, one standard that I'm upgrading is what? Standards are honest. It's about being honest, about being responsive and ready to choose again a better pattern, a better standard, a better renegotiation. Okay. All right. So the last question is, one standard that I'm upgrading is, what is one standard that you are upgrading? That is all I have for you all as far as standards are concerned. Obviously, this is recorded. It will be here. I would encourage you all to share this video with your friends, your family. I am attempting to get everybody, all my friends on you on Instagram. I'm trying to get them all the way over here. Number one, because I love the interaction, I love the conversation. I love the opportunity to read your questions real time. Sometimes it happens that I can go back and forth. Sometimes it doesn't. But today it worked, and I'm really grateful that it did. So let me tell you a little bit about some closing remarks. And where are my notes? The Operation Sexy Body Workroom, some of you all, like Dr. Cheryl, has talked to you guys, has commented before about the workroom, but my Operation Sexy Body Workroom is my small accountability group. Normally, I do one for almost the entire year, anywhere from 6 to 9 months. And I have found over the last, I've tried to do month or 5 week like boot camp, Operation Sexy Body Workroom boot camps, and those are successful. But every single time that I do them, people say, oh, I wish we had more time. So I'm going back to my old school roots and doing my small accountability group in the Operation Sexy Body Workroom starting in March. So this is going to be a 6-month accountability group. You'll have the option to get out, like the movie Get Out. You have the option to get out at 3 months, but of all of the Operation Sexy Body workrooms that I've done, everyone has stayed at least 6 months because you see the progress that you're making. And it's really designed for a 6-month process. But I get it. People like outs. People don't like to have long-term commitments. So 6 months starting in March. So that means we'll go from March until April. We meet bi-monthly, so every other week. I did almost a 9-minute video about the workroom, and the link is in the video or in the description of this video, but it is also a link in my Instagram bio, and it says Operation Sexy Body video. I think it says OSB Workroom video. That's what it says. The beautiful thing is the groups are small. I'll say this, the groups are small, no more than 8 ladies, and we meet every single day. And it's an opportunity if you are a person, Tamara can speak to it as well. Tamara's a graduate. The workroom is a place where if you feel like you know you need something but really don't know what you need, or you would love accountability but need to know what it actually looks like, the workroom is a really great place to start. The workroom is a really great place to have the opportunity to connect with like-minded women, to forge ahead and to kind of be the booster in the rocket that you need to propel yourself forward. So watch the video, comment in the video, message me if you have any questions, but slots are open now, and I will take the first 8 ladies who secure their spot. So if you guys are watching this live, congratulations, you're the first to know about it. And if you are watching this on replay, hopefully there's still some spaces left. So if you guys have any closing comments, I will. Peggy says, I want to participate. Okay, Peggy, well, go to the link and check it out. And in the link, after you watch the video, it'll tell you the next step to do. So I tried to make it a little bit easy to kind of follow the flow. But first thing is watch the video. And then in the video, it will tell you the next steps to do. So D. Carol Mama says, love the live chat of the live interaction. Yeah, I like it too. And it works out. So I wanted to keep this under an hour. I wanted to do 45 minutes of instruction and 15 minutes worth of conversation, but I talked too long, so my time is almost up. But I thank you guys for watching this. I thank you guys for being here. I always have a great time talking to you guys about any and everything that deal with you. And remember, when you are setting standards for others in your life of how to interact with you, make certain that you have standards for yourself and you develop and you adapt those to whatever season you are in your life. Yes, give yourself grace, but also allow the standards that you have for yourself to get you to where you need to be. Don't just have standards to have standards. I have standards. Okay, well, congratulations. But are those standards serving you? Are they helping you get to from where you are to where you want to be? Okay. Hey, Kimberly Evans. So thank you guys so much for joining. I will see you later, most likely on Instagram, because I haven't gotten all my friends over here. But when you tag this video, tell people to come over here because we have a good time over here on YouTube. Okay. All right. Have a great evening or afternoon or morning whenever you're watching this. Okay. Bye.